Monster Hunter has always been a game that I've loved for many, many years. I used to play this game for so many hours after school. I would just come home and do nothing but hunt with the friends that I had made, and I have so many good memories playing this game and all the other games that came after it. I've been playing since 2012. Ever since 3 Ultimate. So I've been here for a while. I've been around the block, a couple of them, you know. And it's just crazy to me to see how far it's come. Like, I remember back in school, like, there used to be nobody that really knew about the game because it was just so hard to get into, and I feel like it still is kind of difficult to get into, but it's so much easier than it used to be. So it's just really crazy. Like, it's just like kind of unreal to see how many people are getting into it now and how popular it is now in the West. It's just kind of crazy because, you know, the game's always been popular in Japan for sure, like crazy popular, but it's never really reached the Western audience as much as I always wanted it to. You know, I only knew like one other person that played Monster Hunter in school. It was kind of crazy. Everyone else, it was like, yeah, maybe I heard about it, you know, but like that was kind of it. It was crazy. And you know, so I just am so happy to see how far it's come. Like, from wanting it to be more and more immersive and open world and making it feel more lifelike, the environment being more like an ecosystem that's living and breathing. It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. I'm really happy. Wilds is gonna come out in a couple months now, and I already know I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose another portion of my life playing this game. Well, you know, I'd probably say I'm probably gonna gain more than I'm gonna lose with this, because the amount of love that I have for these games it's unmatched. It's unmatched. I have so many good memories and so many good times. And you know, Monster Hunter is a game that is mostly played with friends. It's mostly played online, multiplayer, you know, and so it's really driven by a good community, you know. Everyone's always just, you know, trying to help each other out and just have good times. It's great. It really is. It feels like home in a very weird way. Even, I mean, I'm in my home right now, but like it feels like another home, I guess. I don't know. But I kind of just want to talk about the Monster Hunter Wilds beta, because I got to play it for like a good couple hours. I played it for like about, I want to say like 10 hours so far. I'm going to play a little bit more of it when it comes to Steam, the beta. But I gotta say, there's so many changes that I think are just amazingly executed, because for a while now it felt like the biggest problem with Monster Hunter for me was that it was always almost perfect. In terms of that, I mean, it was almost always real. But now it seems like they've figured it out. It seems like they've finally gotten to that point to make it feel like it's like you're actually there. It's actually crazy. I have no words for it. I really do. Have no words. I love the weapons, and I love the changes that they made over the years, and the ones that they have now I think are probably some of the best changes that they've ever implemented for a while, because it feels like for the first time, hopefully it's like this in the actual game, where, you know, it's just a beta. We gotta see how things are, you know? But one of the biggest things that kind of drew me away from some of the weapons, even though I love all of them, I really do. I love the ideas and the concepts. Everything is just insane, you know? Just like thinking of a switch axe, like, or a charge blade, it's just the way that I think the charge blade is the most fascinating weapon to me, and probably hunting horn too. I would have never fucking thought you'd get a anyways. It feels like we're finally able to utilize the entirety of our weapons now, and I think that's such a big change. It's really great to see. You know, I want to say like some examples, like in World, there were some things that, I don't want to be like meta, but you know, when something's good, you want to use it, you know? And usually winning or doing good is fun, in a sense. I mean, you know, you could have fun doing stuff that's off meta, of course you can, you know? You could sleep a monster like, you know, fit 12 times or whatever you want to do. That's fun too. I'm just saying, like, for the most part, I always felt like it kind of felt like sometimes you would kind of spam some of the moves for some of the weapons, or you wouldn't utilize the entirety of the weapon for some hunts, and maybe some others. Some weapons you wouldn't utilize a move like at all, because it just wasn't optimal, I guess I want to say. I don't really like saying that, because I like to just kind of, you know, enjoy the entirety of the weapon, whether it's, you know, fucking busted or not. You know, if I want to do 1,000 dragons on the bow, I'm gonna do 1,000 dragons, you know. Or if I want to use the shelling on a gun lance, even though slap lance, you know, is probably like the better option for a certain matchup on a monster, then I'm gonna do, you know, whatever's the most fun. That's the end goal of the day, to just have fun. But it feels like this time they finally found something that clicked, and I feel like it was the best decision for them to kind of have the new 15th weapon that they're probably, I'm sure they're trying to figure it out right now, on the side, you know, and take what they have right now and just further develop that to, you know, kind of like polish it in a way, you know. Some changes I really liked were switch axe, for instance. I like how before, okay, you know, let me give like an example, right? So switch axe in Monster Hunter Generations was not even a switch axe to me. It was like a switch sword, but you didn't, you know, you would switch to the sword and that was it. Like, there were parts where, you know, there were hunter arts that were pretty good with the switch axe that made it so that you would be in the sword mode like the entire time, and you would get infinite gauge for the sword mode. And it just kind of felt like it was cool, you know, because like sword mode is badass on the switch axe, of course. But I like being able to like use the axe mode sometimes, you know. And it was like in Generations, you would there was just no reason to. I mean, besides just for fun, if you wanted to do that, but it was also a little lackluster. So for some people, it was not fun to do, you know. If you get a really cool move on a weapon and it does like 1 damage, and then you have another really cool move on a weapon and it does like 1,000 damage, you're probably gonna want to lean towards, you know, the bigger number. But that's kind of like what I'm trying to get at here, without sounding like a meta kind of person, because I'm not really like that most of the time. But I do like to make my builds and play, you know, doing some damage. You know, like I want to kill the monster. I don't want to sit there spamming a really cool move that does like low damage, and then like the hunt takes forever. You know, sometimes it will get boring probably after a little while, for me at least. So yeah, I don't really know how to explain it. I don't know, but I'm trying. Okay, that's kind of like as good as I can get it. So for me, it just feels really good now, right? It feels like switch axe, for example, in the beta for Wilds, is like you can actually do, you know, you could use and utilize like every part of the weapon now. You know, I think it's great that you actually have more uses for the axe mode than you did before, and it seems like they've been, you know, doing stuff like that. Like in World, you had reasons to use the axe mode. It would fill up your gauge a little bit. You would get rewarded for switching to axe mode by getting more gauge for your sword mode, which was like your main DPS, you know. And you know, they did this with like some other weapons too, which was great. Dual blades is like, whoa, the normal non-demon mode is actually useful now, because you filling up your gauge. Like in World, it was like, man, you would be in demon mode for so long. Can I say I am so glad that they gave us the I don't know what it's called, like the demon dodge with the demon like the dash step dodge or whatever that you can do in like without being in demon mode, as long as your gauge is kind of filled up or whatever. I think I'm so glad that they added that. I think it used to be in older games, so, and then they took it out of World, which was kind of a bummer, but I'm really glad that they added that, which is really cool. And they just fine polished a lot of these things, like the ability to guard so easily out of weapon attacks, and like being able to cancel certain moves, and just like all these weapons having some sort of, you know, like counter, I guess, to be able to make it just like so much more cool. And it's just great to see. It's great to see. Everything feels so much more fluid and lifelike. It's just great. I don't know what to say. Like I've just been loving it. I've been loving it. I'm loving all the weapons, and I just can't express how excited I am. It finally feels like I'm getting what I was dreaming of in my head while playing this game over 10 years ago, 2012, long time. Like what we're playing now is probably what a lot of people my age at that time were imagining when we played it. Like that's how it felt, and now it's like it's actually there in front of me. It's crazy. It's just it's just crazy. It's crazy. It's amazing. It really is. Being able to use the, oh yeah, and then like the gun lance is like you're able to use the shelling so much more now. It's so great. And I mean they did the like back in Rise and Sunbreak, like you were able to use the shellings and stuff way more. But I remember in World there was a time where it was like slap lance was a thing, and it was you know, while it was kind of cool, it was like, man, I really wish the gun lance was kind of use some shelling every now and then the shelling, you know, people started using shelling for some certain matchups and whatnot, but the other matchups it was just like slap lance, you would never use your shelling. And I like when a hunt is like, you know, like different, I like when a hunt is like you're able to use different styles, you know, like for charge blade, like SAD spam or Savage Axe spam, you know, that's great. But I gotta say, it did get like a little tedious and boring sometimes for me. Charge blade in particular, was cool, but there were just some times where I got bored just going into my axe mode, my savage axe mode, and just spamming up and down and up and down and up and down, because that was like what was good, I guess. So sometimes I would just get bored and like do some other stuff, you know, but it would just, you know, it wasn't as good as like, you know, being able to save and hold on to my files by spamming up down swings and stuff, with like the occasional, you know, spin around swings, you know, if the monster was down or if I had the opportunity to do so. So we'll have to see how things change with the full game coming out, right? Because right now in the beta, everything feels good. Everything feels like you're able to finally utilize everything, and like all the moves feel good, you know. So I'm really hoping that Wilds doesn't become a sort of spam fest with some of these weapons, just because it's meta and a lot of people like to go for the meta. You know, that is what it is. A lot of people want damage, and if they want to be better or they want to do better or get faster times or what have you, you know, they're gonna go for what's spammable. And sometimes it's just like, yeah, it just gets kind of boring, and it feels like they finally fixed it this time. So we'll have to see, right? There's gonna be skills that we're gonna get, so that's gonna buff up certain parts of our weapons. So we have really no idea how it's gonna be in the full game. We only have a sort of idea at the moment. Anyways, I could talk about this all day. I love this series, and yeah, I'm just excited for it to come out. But I don't know, I just wanted to talk about it, say a little bit of my thoughts or whatnot. I might have not said what I was trying to, you know, spill out of my head, but I feel like I kind of got the point across a little bit. So yeah, hopefully y'all are as excited as I am for this game to be coming out. And it's always great to see all the new hunters and just how many people love this game all over the world now. And it's great to see that it doesn't feel like I'm the only one anymore. Anyways, I'll see ya.